Whenever you're ready.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Mission Driven Made podcast. We have a very special guest today. So as always, make sure you stay until the end. The first time I met our guest was about 5 years ago, and he has been a close personal friend and mentor of mine since. He was simultaneously the owner of CrossFit Flood in San Diego and a Master Chief in the Navy. He has taught, led, and inspired thousands of people with fitness, having the opportunity to serve as the command fitness leader in the Navy and running his gym all at the same time. Mike is known for providing a family type of environment in his gym and does more for people behind the scenes than anyone I've ever met in my life. I want to welcome Mike Stoodley to the Mission Driven Made podcast, where our community inspires people to pursue health, wealth, and purpose in their life. How's it going, Mike?
What's up, buddy? Great intro. Love it. No one's ever talked that good about me before in my life.
Maybe just behind your back, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. It's great to see you. It always feels like it's too long from, the last time we spoke. So it's good to see your face again. It's been a while.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we'll dive right in. Okay. So one of my favorite parts when I get to talk to successful people is hearing how everything started from the beginning. So if you can kind of talk about where you grew up a little bit and a bit about your childhood.
Okay. Whew. So if you ever heard of Schenectady, New York, so this place upstate outside of Albany, that's where I grew up. Was there most of my life until basically the Navy. And then, I went in at 20 years old. So basically there the whole life, went off to college for just a tidbit and then been away ever since. But growing up, it was a good time. We dived in a lot of sports. That was me, from sun up to sundown, I'm doing sports. You get into middle school, high school, everything sports. So it was always sports related with me, Unfortunately, though, talking about like upbringings or what happened in your lifestyle to mold you. Well, unfortunate event. My mom passed away when I was in 5th grade. So then I had to do that growing up almost without that mother figure, getting bumped around with family members, dad doing his best. And that kind of fast forwarded to today really set me up for how to do things on your own, finding different mentors out there, different stuff, because you may not have family all the time. So it was one of them where great life growing up, but definitely struggles like many, many people have gone through.
Right.
So.
And can you pronounce the name one more time? Because every time I try to say the city that you're from, I just feel like I'm biting my tongue.
Skin your neck today. There's how you remember it. Schenectady.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll probably have to ask you again next week.
No worries.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And when did your passion for fitness start? And did you know you wanted to do this as a career in some fashion someday?
Didn't know that I'd be a trainer growing up until probably when I went off to college. It was, this is kind of cool, taking care of young athletes. And then I'd go home from college and went to volunteer with my high school to help out them. And kind of from there, it was like, yeah, I'm going to be a trainer.
Yeah.
But before that, like I was telling you, Jake, it was like sports. It's like, hey, wait, they're doing this, they're doing that. Yeah. And it's like, I always want to get in that local league of whatever, be it, little league baseball to soccer to, basketball. And so did it all and enjoyed it all. So.
Awesome. Yeah. The sports definitely register for me. That was my whole childhood too, at least for a little while.
Right.
So yeah, I totally get you. And then can you expand on your career in the military and how you made it to the highest enlisted rank in the Navy?
Well, almost second highest, not joking, because you do have the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, the MCPON, but I did make Master Chief, and that was a blessing. I went in and I wanted to get in the medical field because that's kind of like being a trainer, meaning,
right.
Going into learning all that stuff. So, I was like, let me go and be a hospital corpsman. So I did that and then went into a couple different things. And the whole thing about making rank is really, doing your job, taking care of people, people taking care of you. Okay. If you don't have people underneath you, building you up, trying to take your job, you're not going to move up. So, I've had great people around me, appreciated it, didn't complain about work. Cause I'll tell you, there's a lot of things to complain about in the military. You got, from taking out the trash when you're younger to,
Yeah.
growing up and, dealing with the politics. But, you put on your shoes, you go to work and, you smile, you do good. And it just led from one foot to the other. And I was lucky enough to make Master Chief. So
I love that you said about training people under you to be able to take your job. Did I hear that correctly?
right,
That is
that's
that is
it.
awesome. Can you
That's
expand on that just a little bit?
Yeah, future leaders, it's kind
Yeah.
of, we go back to say the gym where you're one of my coaches. You're
Yeah.
one of my coaches to take over to be an owner. You
Yeah.
don't just train people to just do their job. You want to replace you because that's how that's how you can go home and relax. If
Yeah.
you got people pushing you out the door wanting your job,
Right.
it's like, hey, they're hungry. Teach them everything that they want to know. So, well, you can enjoy your retirement or lifestyle to make things a little bit easier. And when I say easier, it's not always easier because
Yeah.
as you move up or this and that, the the mental part or the different stuff going on is pretty overwhelming.
Absolutely. And I know you don't like talking about this specifically, but I have to ask you,
Sure.
what was your most proud accomplishment while you were serving?
Well, see, that's that double edge, and I kind of hit on it a second where proud to make the different ranks I did because of the family happiness. Having my wife and kids and everybody be like proud of dad was like, that was awesome. But where I just spoke about watching those under me, them junior, enlisted junior officers get promoted, watching that and seeing
Yeah.
that, it's like, that's the best thing that can happen. So proudest accomplishment is just watching others make rank, but also happy for my family to see me be successful. So,
Awesome. And was it a long process to become a Master Chief? Like, did it just take a long time in general?
well, it does. And a lot of it goes to, what rate you're in or this and that, like what your specialty is. I was in the medical field. So different rates have different tracks of progression. So I guess I can go to another proud accomplishment is, I guess you can say being a board member. So we talk about like
Oh,
making
okay.
rank, like, and you were actually at the gym, I think, when I went off to Tennessee. I had to set a selection board, and I did several of them. So only the Master Chiefs will set a selection board. So this is where I'm reviewing records for people to make the next rank.
Right.
So, doing that, being a part of that and watching that process, being a part of that process, was a proud moment because you're selecting the future leaders. You're seeing what's going on and all that other stuff. And, the military having the trust of selecting me to be part of that process was pretty cool. But that, depending on, like I said, what your rate is, and the Master Chief selecting you for the chief and the senior chief and the Master Chief, can take, most rates about 10 years or so. If you're in the nuclear ratings, you can make, chief for this and that in 6, 7 years, but some rates you're not making it till 18, 19, 20 years, where they're almost out the door.
Whoa.
Then you finally make it. So, I was lucky. I made rank decently fast. I ended up making Master Chief just shy of 20 years, and then put a few more years in after that till I finally retired.
Awesome. And when you say rate, that's just a job classification, correct?
Correct. Like I was in the medical field.
Got
So
it.
hospital corpsman was my rate. You can be electrician, you can be, all them type of things out there. So
Did you ever
yeah.
work at a Balboa Naval? I feel like I should already know this about you.
Yeah, way back in the day, early in my career, I was at Balboa for a little while. Yeah, real early. So that was fun. They kicked me out of there because I made rank. So it's like you got to move on. I was like, so this is before I knew about like billeting and placement. You can only have a certain amount of different rates or ranks at your job. Well, with my position, it was like time to move on because you made rank. So I kind of got hooked up after that, believe it or not. So I got a phone call. Well, first off, I go in one day. I was
Yeah.
the guy that opened up early. So I would come in at 6 o'clock And my senior chief was like sitting in my desk with his feet kicked up, reading the paper. I'm like, well, this doesn't really happen. This guy comes in like later and everything. Why, something like something's going on here. And he says, you need to call the detailer. And I was like, oh man. I was like, what the heck is going on here? Well, he knew the detailer, so they're in on a little something, something. So I called the detailer, and the guy goes, hey, how you like it there in San Diego? I was like, oh, I like it a lot, He's like, how do you like the Midwest? Never really been there. He's like, I got orders for you in Fargo, North Dakota.
No way.
I was like, whoa, okay. I guess I'm going to Fargo. Next thing you know, my senior chief and him are both laughing at the same time, and they set me up. Really, they had orders. There was a billet that came up in my hometown and right outside of Schenectady, Albany. So I went home to Albany for a tour, and that was kind of unique because you go to see the world, but here you are in your hometown again, But it
Yeah.
was kind of cool to be in my, in the military, and you get to see family at the same time. Not only your immediate, but extended family. So I was
Right.
like, that was a fun little tour.
And then eventually you made your way back to San Diego, and that was the last duty station you had.
I was back and forth in San Diego. I go to San
Oh.
Diego and, like I said, Albany. Then I go back to San Diego, then Virginia, San Diego, then to Florida. I was back and forth. This is my second home, basically. So
Oh my
now
gosh.
here I am retired in San Diego. So,
Wow, I didn't realize you went back and forth so much. Where was your favorite spot, but you can't include San Diego?
oh man, probably of all places, Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So
How
I
come?
got stationed in New Haven, Connecticut with a Marine unit, and it was reserve Marines. So I was the medical for these like reserve Marines. There's a Navy unit there also. So the Navy guy and me both shared an office. I was with the Marines, he was with the Navy, and it was just it was a nice setup. And I got to live near the sub base in Groton. And my brother happened to get out of the Navy. He was in the Navy also. He got out of the Navy and lived there. So again, now here I am seeing more family. Kids loved it because we had a lot of land, so they were loving the stream and the snow, and I had to shovel it all. So it was good raising the family because that's where my youngest daughter was born, and so it was a good time, good time of duty station with a lot of
Yeah.
memories.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing all that.
yeah.
So I want to transition a bit more to entrepreneurship and business.
Okay.
One thing that many people may struggle with regarding starting a business is figuring out how to make time for it. So while you're working a full-time job, especially. So when I first met you, you were in the Navy still, and you're also running the gym. Can you
Right.
unpack what that was like for you, especially in the beginning process of when you took over the gym?
First off, are you going to it when you're single or are you going into it when you're married? I went into it as I'm married. If I didn't have 110% support from my wife, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity to own a gym, CrossFit, came up, basically go home, talk to the wife, hey, had this opportunity and I want to be a trainer, own a gym when I retire, but this fell into my lap, but how
Yeah.
do I really do this? And she's like, you're stupid if you don't do it.
I love
So
that. Oh,
I'm,
that's great.
I'm like, you never see me. She's like, exactly. No, she's like, do it so I don't have to put up with you.
The real
No,
reason.
the real reason, right? I knew there was something behind there. She enjoyed it too much. No, so it was like having her support because then she'd have to raise the kids more. She'd have to do more at home. And, here I am, coming in and, half hour before bedtime. And it's like, oh, hi, everybody. Oh, bye, everybody,
Yeah.
So it was just a sacrifice to set up for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely it seems like it helps to have a supportive spouse, because it would definitely make the
Have to.
process a lot harder if that wasn't the case.
You have to. And knowing your
Yeah.
family, you got it also,
Yeah. Yep.
we have to, brother. We wouldn't
Yep.
be able to do it without them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, it's really easy, for even me to look at someone like you with the success that you have, uh, and not think about, maybe mistakes that were made along the way. I'd love to hear about mistakes. And just so if someone's listening, say they're going through a similar thing that you did, maybe a mistake or two that you made that, you can kind of pass on to someone else to maybe not do the same thing.
Number one mistake, don't have a partner.
Gotcha.
You're going to hear that a lot from business owners of the past or this and that, whatever. If they went into it with a partner, or if they didn't, that they're like, I shouldn't have done it. Unless your partner is your spouse, and even then maybe not. No, seriously. It's tough, and it was tough for us because balancing, who we were, what our goals were, and we weren't on the same page, unfortunately. And we learned from that. And as you know, I end up buying my partner out, and then I go solo. But if in the beginning I had to do it that way, and I say had because of how I bought the gym and everything and opportunity, and my wife saying go for it. Having that partner really did set it up, because of when I was in the military, I needed that to fall back on, because what if I got deployed, or what if I got underway, or I needed somebody to have my back, and I did. So that definitely worked. But then, like, if I was to set one up today without, having another job or whatever, and I went in solo, that's what it would be. Go in solo. Because I've had other people ask me during the years, and maybe you did, I don't know, just joking, but hey, what do you think if I bought into your, and I'm like, no. I no more partners. So, go solo. And if you really need that help from somebody else, maybe getting like a team of experts or something like that, and have a good business plan. But just doing it because of other reasons, or if it's financial, it's wrong reason, So
it does seem like that's kind of a lot riding on another person when it comes to like financial decisions. So that makes perfect sense when starting, especially, a CrossFit gym.
Sure. Was there some good times? Absolutely. But this not made for podcasts. I got a bunch of stories I can tell you, but it's the dramas of doing it. But again, I learned a lot. And if you don't learn from mistakes, yours and others, you're not going to be successful. So wouldn't change how everything happened, but go into it on your own, bro.
Gotcha. And I know just about every gym owner works pretty long hours. Can you give us a behind the scenes look, or day to day, what it's like being a business owner?
Yeah, sure. You wake up, you do programming, coaching, admin, this and that, you go to bed. No, I'm messing. So
exciting.
Yeah, really. It is not exciting. That's the thing. People think it's easy. It's not. And then I want to kind of build on that question you asked me with this. Are you going in to own a gym to be successfully monetarily, or are you going into it for other reasons? Okay. Be honest. My main one wasn't monetarily. It was, I don't want to say hobby, but it was a passion to help each other, not to make the most money out of it. Now, I know that seems weird and an oxymoron of different ways, but there's, if you break down the amount of gym owners, this and that, whatever, there's a lot of different reasons. The gym owner that is passionate about helping everybody, but not passionate about money, works too freaking hard. And now that's a bad thing, unless, again, that's what they want to do and they're happy with all that. I was, and it worked, but I think we've even talked many times, you get burnt out. You're like, oh man, there's a lot going on. Now, on the other side, you're doing it like business plan, having the whole model of making more. How are we going to do that? I don't want to say you work less, but it's a whole different thing. This is where not having a partner, but you have a different business plan of your marketing going to do this, you're going to have that. You might step on toes, but it's a, dog eat dog world or whatever. It's a whole different way of going at that ball game. So, so my day-to-day was a little bit more time consuming because I did a lot and because it was my passion. And you guys know, as coaches, I was empowering you guys for different stuff of this and that, but I held a lot of it because a lot of you guys had separate jobs or this and that. If you went into one side of the business. It may be not to hire the Jakes of the world who has another job because he can only give me this or this hour.
Right.
You want, hey, Jake, you're going full time. Here's your 40 hours. I'm going to bid it. That is awesome. But again, that was different from what we did.
Right.
And having that had me working sun up to sundown, doing that admin stuff, tracking those that would email and following up with different things for the marketing, doing the programming and the different tracks. Because as you know, we have a comp team, you have your gymnastics, you have your different type of, I had kids programs. So you have your different programming, and to do it the right way is time consuming. And you got a lot of people out there that like pay for programming or this and that. Well, that side that believes in that, there's nothing wrong with. My side was, your people. So it can go both ways, bro, So that was time consuming for me to try to do the right programming, knowing our people, knowing what, what the track was, knowing what the macro cycle was, and knowing how everything fit together, instead of, hey, let me jump on ABC programming because they're going to the games or something,
Right.
So and your admin, your bills paying, it goes on and on and on. So, and then the coaching hours, because as you know, I coached a lot also. So it's time consuming and rewarding, because you see, as you mentioned earlier about the community aspect of the gym and how everything was, it's, having the relationships, they're still there, and wouldn't change anything.
It's something I didn't really think about till recently. You had so many different tasks that you had to do. Did it take a while for you to get to the point where you had kind of a system like, okay, it's morning, I'm going to do admin, I'm going to then coach, I'm going to then pay the bills, I'm going to then do marketing? Like how did that work for you? And did it take a while to get to a point where it worked for you?
In the beginning, going back to that partnership, it was tough divvying out, you do this, I do that. Once it was, once I owned it on my own, it was much more simpler, because that's where the military took over, where I'm used to being structured. I'm used to this. So that was no problem for me. Like working more hours wasn't a problem. Being structured was no problem. So I had, say you were coaching that 6 a.m. class and you see me coming in at 6:30. It's like, why are you here right now? I'm like, because I can sit down on the computer and get some work done without, worrying about whatever. And, that type of thing. So you just, I had a good day-to-day plan and kind of rolled with it,
Awesome. So just the takeaway, say there's a listener that hasn't started a business yet, but's looking to, do you think they need to have this, perfect plan beforehand? Or is it more of like you have a plan, but also learn as you go?
I would go with the first one for most people. Most people getting in this business want to do it to be successful. Best gym owner out there, making the most money. I mean, people like myself, honestly, could be looked at as like, why are you wasting your time? It takes a different breed, and there's many out there, and I don't want to go into their names, but there's some big CrossFit Games athlete owners and different that aren't owning gyms anymore because, well, even though you're a big name, you can't keep people coming in because they were passionate like myself and wasn't into. So there's many different things there. If you want to go into it for the reasons kind of you should, let's make money, get you a good business plan, get you a good business mentor, get that stuff ahead of time to know what you should and shouldn't do. Everybody's like, hey, I'm going to get all this equipment from Rogue, I'm going to set it up in my gym. Okay. How many times did the GHDs get dust on them? Because you can't, you don't put them in an everyday class per se. Most gyms don't have 10 GHDs where you run the class and everybody's getting on them. So it's like, there's a lot of equipment you don't need right away and all this other stuff. So, get the business plan, get a business mentor, know what you need, what you don't need, and kind of go from there. Even space wise, as we know, it's worldwide now for CrossFit or any gym. Well, where are you renting from? Or are you buying? But San Diego, we're paying way much more money than Nebraska, so it's like, how much square footage do you need? So go smaller than you think, and until you're knocking into the walls with everybody and all that other stuff, then you don't need to expand. So
Gotcha. And anytime I speak with someone that's in the fitness industry, I have to ask this question.
yeah.
What is the biggest myth in fitness that just won't die?
It's a lot of them.
Yeah,
But
true.
one that comes to mind with me, honestly, would be relating to females. And if you knew, our gym was a lot of times 60-40, 70-30. We had a lot of women in our gym.
Yeah.
And one of the things that always pinch that little nerve is like, oh, I don't want to lift too heavy because I don't want to get bulky,
Yep.
the
That's a good
old
one.
thinking you're going to get, I'm going to look like that muscle bound girl, this and that. Oh my goodness. No, you're not.
That's a good
No,
one.
you are not.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Absolutely.
women, if you're listening, lift weights.
Yeah.
Lifting weights it's so important for everybody. Keep you out of the nursing homes, everything else. You got to build that muscle. So
It's the fountain of youth, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing I really loved about CrossFit is, as we mentioned earlier, the community aspect of it. And I feel like we are someone that was always laughing. So to put you on the spot, tell me a funny story or incident that happened while you're running the gym.
Man, that's a hard thing because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to say something that's not even like the most hilarious, but it kind of rings to us and everything. We had a guy, we still do, got a guy at the gym. His name is Greg, and he got a nickname called Sweet G. So when you're new to the class and we're like, hey, Sweet G, people would think, well, what's sweet? Where did he get this? Does he eat a lot of candy? Is he maybe feminine? Where's his sweetness coming from? Well, different days we'll do leg drills, right? So we're warming up, doing the different, butt kicks, high knee skips, whatever. Well, we're doing walking lunges. We say, hey, you guys go down to the 25 meter mark, go down for walking lunges. All of a sudden, Greg's like, I'm going to go to Sweet G, which is like the next door down, like 5 meters, it's like nothing. So I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to Sweet G. So now he got the nickname SUITE, Sweet G. And everybody I thought was SWEET. So that's kind of my laughy. But
I love it.
I don't know.
I love it.
I mean, the other thing you can laugh at is when you got a comp team and they're like working out during open gym, and then you walk in and Taylor Swift playlist is just blasting. I won't mention any names on that or anything, but yeah, we had some of our guys that were heavy hitters, so to speak, just blasting Taylor Swift.
Who knew?
They're like doing yoke carries and all this stuff.
So. No idea who they were.
No idea. Speaking of, one of them's getting married anytime now.
So, that's right. I saw that recently. Yeah. Do you still get to keep in contact with him?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll have to say hi. It's been too long. Actually, the last time I talked to Michael was when he was at your house and you guys FaceTimed me.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was the last time.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had his bachelor party, I think, was it 2 weekends ago or something like that. So
awesome.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be saying hi to that guy. Yeah.
He's awesome. About to be locked down soon.
That's right. So. Yeah, and I know a lot of craziness has happened with COVID and the gym, like we talked about a bit earlier. Can you share any future plans that you may have regarding fitness?
Sure. Don't know. No, it's I train quite a few people still, like online. I have people coming to the garage doing this, doing that. So I'm always going to be touching people per se, helping people out. That's just who I am, right? I just moved into a new house and all the neighbors are like, oh, wow. And so I'm like helping neighbors out, whatever. And got a park right down the street from me. So do park workouts, just having fun. So my goal right now, being retired from the Navy, sugar mama wife, working as a nurse, she's working her butt off. She lets me keep this hobby of mine and just have fun with it. As for big, like as we're kind of talking, what would you
Yeah.
recommend for someone getting into the how big am I going to go again? I don't know, honestly. With the state the world's in and everything, we don't know what's new
Yeah.
rules and regulations and the COVID stuff and everything. So, I've never rushed anything. And I think that's one thing you've learned from me at the gym, where people are like, what this and this and this? I'm like, all right, let me hold on a second. Let's see how this goes. And, same way in the military, instead
Yeah.
of just jumping on something, it's like, take your time, observe, take your notes, see what's going to happen. So I'm in no hurry for anything in the future because I'm still young. Yeah, don't even want to tell you how old I am now. Man,
28, right?
seriously,
I think it's
man.
28.
Bad news is like over double that. No, well, my math is way off. Wow.
I was like, wait a second.
No.
I was like, I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it
quite
shows you
that
where I am.
much.
Wait, 28, 28. Yeah, I got to go back to school.
Morning math,
No.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was the worst. You come into class in the morning,
Yeah.
you're like reading the whiteboard. You're like, hey, so today we're front squat, and they're like, it says back squat. We're
Morning
gonna be
math.
doing it. Yeah, and it's gonna be at this weight. And they're like, wait, that's not what it. We're doing 5 rounds. It only says 3. It's like, I can't. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. What do you want me to say? Yeah.
That's what's great when you're so comfortable, with the members going there that they know you so well, and it's not a huge deal if you make a mistake like that. That's something I love too. They're like, oh, it's just early in the morning. It's fine.
Just going with the flow. It's just him. He
Yeah.
hasn't woken up yet. He's still got his coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Coffee and bone broth, right?
Bone broth and coffee. There you go.
Awesome.
Good
So,
flavor right there.
all right, Mike. So this is the last part of the show. I want to give you the floor for a couple minutes. Can you give the listeners a few takeaways if they're, I'll say, wanting to run a business, but currently are employed full-time somewhere else? Just a few concrete takeaways for them.
Sure. Well, yeah, if you've already got a job, you gotta there's been people that, hey, I'm an engineer, hey, I'm this and whatever, and very successful. And you want to go over to the fitness because of being a passion. If you can financially support your family, your wife, your kids, or your husband, your kids, whatever, if you can support that,
Yeah.
that's one direction. If you can't let your family, suffer because of your passion. So make sure you're set financially, still going to get the gas in the car, still going to get the groceries on the table. You're still going to be able to get toilet paper when they run out again, all that stuff. But, know what you're getting into if you want to make that career path change. It is tough to juggle them both. So if you're going to juggle them both, have that plan first. Have that maybe get on a call with a life coach, a business mentor, someone that's been there, done that, and get everything paved out and see if this is something you can do. Instead of just, hey, I've always wanted to be a CrossFit coach because I did a sub-3 Fran, and so I'm going to be an awesome coach, and that's all it's going to be. That's nothing. So have all the business stuff done. Do you know how to market? If you don't know how to market before you own the gym, well, you're losing right there. Get all them plans down. Where do you want to go? What's your commute going to be like? How many coaches are you going to hire? All that type of stuff, and kind of go from there. But yeah,
awesome.
Take your time with it. There's no rush, no rush at all. So
hurry up and wait, right?
Absolutely. Seriously. We're still young. Look how many things that we've done through life and all that. And there's still so many years ahead of us to make career path changes or do this or do that. So yeah, don't rush into anything. Make sure you got your head on your shoulders straight, and so you can just go about it the right way.
Awesome. And where can people connect with you? I'm going to link, any socials or anything you'd like in the description.
Don't connect with me. I'm joking. I'm a social media hater now. I mean, just with all the controversy and everybody's got something to say.
Yeah.
I follow Instagram, a lot of people on there, very intelligent doctors, trainers, therapists, and everything. And then you see a comment like right underneath this awesome post they made, and someone's throwing shade. And I'm like, so is that going to be all day? Let me post this, and now I got to combat it, or just not say anything.
Yeah.
Or Dave Castro it, just, whatever. But, connecting with me, I got Mike's Gym in Santee, so that's on my Instagram, setting up in my house right here. I got a personal Instagram. I think it's Michael.Stoodley, Stoodley. I think there's a Facebook thing still out there. I forget what that is, but I think it's still Michael.Stoodley or however that is, but it's the name on there. No, I think that was just Mike Stoodley, because that's how I go by, me.
Awesome.
But, yeah, but not a huge social media guy, kind of like you know how it goes.
Yeah.
You're, we like to connect with people personally. You're doing this and do that, and we know the things about social media we don't like, but also one of the main reasons I had one open and you're getting one is, well, business wise.
Right.
So, it's important to do it that way. But now that I'm not 100% in business, that I'm doing it kind of here, yeah, I stay off of social media. But if anybody does have anything, you can DM me on anything and I will help anybody. So I'm just against the gun views, politics, this drama, that drama. Don't.
Yeah,
I can't take drama.
It seems like sometimes it's just kind of a platform for people to argue, no matter how innocent the post was. I definitely see what you mean.
Just got to post just to post. Hey, I had a great time at the game today. Why did you go to the game? You should have been at home doing this. What? I don't know. It's just to argue for like no reason.
Yeah.
And whatever. We all have different religious views, political views, all these other views. I don't care what your post is. You know why? I mean, you and I go back how long? And it's like, if you had a different view than me, am I all of a sudden not going to be your friend?
Yeah, exactly.
No big deal.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Mission Driven Made podcast. If you found value in this, please like, subscribe, and share. Mike, thank you for bringing lots of value to all the listeners, and thank you for being mission driven. It was awesome having you on the show.
Hey, buddy. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Of course.